Alright, what is up everybody on Rumble or YouTube, wherever you're seeing this video at. So, I got another one for you guys today. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. So I'm going to be showing everybody that has been wanting to know how to multi-stream from like Twitch, YouTube, whatever to Kick, to Twitch, to Twitter, whatever you're looking to do. I'm going to show you guys how to do the two different methods that I think are two of the best methods to actually utilize. Technically three, if you really count as the second one will actually be kind of intertwined with another site. They do also offer something that's very similar to the second option that I'm going to be offering as well. But the main primary one in this is going to be using an actual link that was made, or a plugin, sorry, that was made by a actual Japanese VTuber for helping other VTubers out with doing multi-streaming so they could go across all these different platforms, but it gives you very, very little headroom to worry about. Like, you don't have to worry about it like, using up like a ton of your land, or not your land, sorry, if I could speak English, it would be great. It's a ton of your kilobytes or anything like that. It's not going to, be like, oh, each one of these sites you're going to, it's now giving, a different 6,000 kilobytes to, right? That is something that I think is kind of like a weird way to describe this, because it doesn't exactly do that. While it looks like it might be doing that, it's in fact actually just cloning what the main signal is and kind of effectively making it just simulate that one to the same one or same amount to other platforms. So this way you're not actually losing out on the quality across the board. This is why whenever I've done multi-streaming, even especially back when we were on LiveSpace and stuff, I would be multi-streaming from LiveSpace, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, Twitter, everything, and all of it would look exactly the same. Now, it basically depends on the website. If it has a better decoder, if there is a lot of compression, all that kind of stuff like that going on the website side will then actually alter the effect of what your video will look like. However, so long as you have the capability really to push out 6,000 to 10,000 kilobytes a second, you're really going to be just fine, because quite honestly, this whole setup I'm going to show you guys is really, really minimalist. We've been doing this for years now, and honestly, it's helped out so many other people like our boy Voodoo to reach like literally 8 to 9 different platforms just with using one plugin. And the best thing about that too, right, is on like Restream, where you have to pay for it. Now, I will say with the Restream paying for that subscription, you do get the option of like something like Twitter, which requires you to have premium in order to stream to there. Kind of like Streamlabs will allow you to do that too. But then you have to kind of weigh the option of, is paying that price tag worth getting that one extra thing plus adding all the extra sites to it? Whereas that also adds a heavy amount of headroom, plus you're using their servers. There's a lot of extra stuff that goes on with that one. Whereas with this plugin, you are actively just going live with this plugin, or you can use the other method, which I'm going to show you. We're now back at the computer, and this is actually my fucking second take on this. I'm so mad at myself, chat, by the way. I did a little behind the scenes real quick. So I just did 12 minutes of recording this, and then as soon as I switched over and saw OBS, as I was in mid-talking, because I wasn't even finished with the other part of the video yet, I saw the microphone was actually muted and hadn't been recording this entire time. So 12 minutes of my actual OBS recording was just completely muted. Now, I could have in post just voiced over all that stuff, sure. It would have been obvious though, and yeah, I just was really upset with myself before I even realized, oh, I could have done that. Whatever. So, so there's gonna be some altering of what just had to be done, and I'm kind of upset about it, because it does it best if I was having this shown as it's going along, because there's a couple little hiccups here. All right, now what we're doing here is trying to show installing this. Now, the hiccup really isn't actually from really so much the app itself or anything like that. It's more so like the security issue with Apple and everything else. And now I know for a fact that if that happens with Apple, that you're most likely going to have to deal with something along the lines. If I'm not mistaken, it's either going to have to be like going into the firewall of Windows Defender and allowing it that way, or there's like that little box that pops up, and a lot of times, even though it makes it seem like you just delete whatever it is you're trying to open up, if you click more details, a lot of times it'll give you the option to just run it anyway. And I honestly highly recommend just doing that option, because when you click this link, you're going to be taken to this said page, which is the OBS actual main website itself. This is the resources area for, like, obviously it's not in the plugins because this plugin is actually going to be from GitHub. Now, there is a reason for that. So, biggest thing you just got to remember, this is not where you're going to get the download from. Now, the problem was that I just did this and showed everybody on the first 4-minute part of the video, you know, how it doesn't show up, because if you're over here, as you can see, this is the fucking plugin. The plugin is already installed. So I was like, oh man, like, come on, it ruined that part of the video. And because I already have it set up now to let it do it anyway, it's just, yeah. There's no way really for me, at least that I know of off the top of my head, to go back and redo that setup to show specifically what I mean by that. But here's what I'm talking about, okay? So before, let's pretend this isn't there. Pretend that's not there. Okay? For those wondering what I just had to go pause that for, ooh, I just had a tickle in my throat there. Got a cough. I was been trying to hold that back this entire time. But when I went into the docs window before we installed it, I was showing that in this thing, it literally ended at stats and then went into these ones, right? So I was like, oh yeah, see, even after I installed it, it doesn't show up unless you restart OBS. Well, fuck me, now it's there and I can't get it. So it's like, oh man, that totally screwed that all up for that part of the video. But just pretend, we're gonna pretend that I'm just installing this, right? That I have to go to download. It's going to take me then to the GitHub page. Now, again, as I was stating in my other video, this was made by a Japanese VTuber. That is why this whole page is always in Japanese, and every time I send people to this, I instantly get this message back. Hey, dude, why is this all in Japanese? I can tell you this right now, even if I say it like this right now. I guarantee you there's going to be a comment down below, going to be commenting in my chat, or whatever the case is later, and somebody's going to be like, dude, that page is all in Japanese. I can't read Japanese. I understand that. You don't need to, okay? There's only like one thing you need to click on, technically two in my case, because I'm going to be doing this off of a Windows PC later, and which is going to have been like a screw up, and then like somehow magically the other laptop would have been like sent that in that time frame. It would have been awesome. So I have a laptop that will be coming back. I've been talking about this on the stream. I will have a Windows PC, sadly. I say that because as you guys know, I've switched to Mac completely. It will help though for this video, and plus for a actual, like, you know, a review aspect of it as well. I'll be able to do that of, you know, a comparison between the two. And then once I get my Mac Mini, that laptop will probably be given to my little sister. Just because, honestly, at the end of the day, once I have my Mac Mini and then the M2, these two are very, very powerful. Like, not even joking, this still has more VRAM than the 4050 I'm about to be given. So, just to put that out there. But, in my case, I'm going to be doing this one, is what I would have clicked on, is what I did click on the other video that I originally shot with no audio. This one, though, is what you guys, for the most part, pretty much everybody, I know, not a lot of you all have made the switch like myself to Mac as well. I'm telling you guys, gaming on Mac is just amazing. It really is. And it's way more capable of a thing than anybody's really making it out to be. Like, especially, let's say you go get, if you have the money to ball out, either on the MacBook Pro or the Mac Studio, and you can buy like either between a 32-core MacBook Pro or Studio to the 40-core one, you will be able to run anything you want, okay? And that's even if, like, let's say you bring over, let's say do crossover, and then you want to do, you know, Cyberpunk or whatever the case is, you will still be able to do that, hands down, no issues. It will run perfectly fine. Not even joking, especially at a 40-core, even 32-core GPU, you're no doubt going to be able to run everything perfectly fine. And I say crossover because there's going to be a lot of games that still haven't been ported over to Mac just yet. So running something like crossover allows you to still play your PC games for the most part over on a Mac. So that is why I'm still saying gaming on a Mac is completely capable. However, back to the topic at hand, I will be doing this. I click on this, and it's going to give me a download package, right? And then the download package, when I click it to open it up, it's going to tell me, hey, Mac doesn't recognize this, you know, program. Just throw it away, put it in the trash. That's where you're going to stop. You're going to close out that. You're then going to go and you have to open it up, by the way. You have to do this. So you have to have downloaded the file, open it up, and have it do the whole like, hey, we don't recognize the file, because otherwise it's not going to trigger what I need. Well, not necessarily but in this case, what I needed it to trigger for me to show you guys, but for yourself, if you're on a Mac, it'll trigger it. It's going to be in your privacy and security settings. So you're going to go over to here. You're going to scroll down, and it'll ask you, like, your last app that you just opened, it couldn't open. Do you want to open it anyway? You will click yes. Then, once it does that, boom, you got your dock installed. So you just are going to have to go through that. Now, again, as I said, on Windows, because I'm not using a Windows right now PC, I'm using my MacBook right now to do this. The biggest thing is that you just need to go to this one. You don't need to do the zip. You don't need to do any of the other stuff, unless I guess you're doing Linux, I guess. But legitimately, you just need the Windows x64 installer.exe. Click that and install. It'll download and install the thing like it normally does, or it'll download the file. You install the file, and again, like I said, you might get that pop-up that says Windows does not recognize this file. Do you want to just get rid of it? And click more details, and it should ask you run anyway. Click run anyway. You'll probably have to give it another admin option to be like, yes, please run that file. Once it's installed, if like I was trying to say, because when I had this going, I was already recording this, so it wasn't just like, oh cool, I got this thing done, now I can just open it up right here, it's going to be already in there. That's not how this actually looks, right? That's why I was upset that it now looks like that with this. So what would happen normally, like if you're doing that and you had your OBS already open in the background, you will then have to close it, which you shouldn't have it open in the background unless you're doing a video like this, right? But just have it closed, anything like that, have that all closed out. Then make sure that you reopen it or just open it in general if it's already been closed once it's installed. Once that dock is installed, then all you gotta do is open OBS. You don't need to restart your PC, MacBook, whatever. You don't need to do any of that. Just restart OBS. Multiple output will be in there. You will click that. It will be a little box that's actually floating. I docked mine as I was trying to, again, say in the video that I had no fucking audio. I tend to put mine above everything just so that it kind of keeps it more organized, in my opinion. And then what I like to do is that, like, when you go to make a new target, as you can see, it says new target down here. We're going to go ahead and delete this real quick so that way we can show you guys from scratch. So in this case, you'll be able to go into your protocol, and if the, depending on whatever it is, like if it's an RTMP, is it an SRT, or is it a WIP connection, you can then, dictate whatever you want for that. Now, most of them are all going to be RTMP. So for the most part, you're just going to need to click this, boom, you have it set, URL, you go grab that from, let's say, like your Twitch or your Kick URL in your stream settings. You're going to post that there. Then you got to grab your stream key. You're going to post that there, just like you'd be doing in your regular settings over here, the general settings, right? But, so you put it over here. Then, the thing is that this is sharing the encoder settings from over here, okay? So whatever you have in your settings down here is going to be what's going to translate to this setting over here, okay? Now, the best part about that is just leave it be. You don't need to adjust it, but you can if you want to. But the best part is that if you would say, like myself, I know if I'm going live on Rumble, I'm going live on Kick, right? I'm doing both of them at the same time, every day, all the time, like that, right? So without having to then go click start on that option every time, I can just go over here and click sync start and sync stop. So whenever I click start stream, so anytime we click this button over here to start the stream up, it automatically starts this one as well. And anytime I hit stop stream, it stops this one as well. This way, I don't have to worry that, oh shit, I clicked start, did that other one start? And the only time that will happen is if, like, let's say you don't have a static stream key. And again, for those that maybe aren't understanding what I'm saying about that, a static stream key is just going to be literally a stream key that stays itself all the time, no matter what. You only need to reset it when something maybe goes wrong, right? But in some cases, like with, when you're doing Rumble Studio, if you're doing the Classic Studio, since they just updated it and now gave a direct RTMP option, if you're doing Classic Rumble Studio, your stream key is actually going to actively change every time. So before you go start up your stream, I would recommend go get the new stream key, put it in here, and then start it up. Unless you're already, you're doing one of those things where you're starting up everything else and then once that's already started, then you actively go into your Rumble Studio and then do it that way. You can totally do it afterwards, stuff like that, but then you just, when it goes to seek to start, it just will say, failed to connect is what it's going to say. So that'll be your biggest issue. Now, if it can't allocate enough of the resources to everything, you will have issues where like maybe one stays connected but the other one doesn't. A lot of times this is just basically because it's cloning all of the bit rates, right? So if you have it set to 6,000, it's setting that to every single one of those. Now, a lot of people always ask me, does that mean that I'm using, then 12,000, and it's just, no, you're not. But what you are doing is that you are actually putting a little bit more stress on the machine. So again, if your machine doesn't have enough RAM, CPU, or even just bandwidth and stuff like that, you are going to have a little bit of a bottleneck and have some issues. The biggest one I've ever seen that causes one to drop and the other two to stay going is, quite honestly, if the RAM and the CPU ever get maxed. At any point, if any of those two seem to get maxed out, I have seen it disconnect one and keep two of them still going when I've had 4 streams going at once. So just bear that in mind. Again, you are basically only going to be limited by your hardware. So, and if you already have shit internet as it is, well, then come on. Doing multi-streaming as it is going to be a really hard one to do. But that is where the next option is going to come in to real play here. Because once you have your new target, and by the way, oops, no, I want to do that. I was going to modify. You can do this. You can also name it, right? So if you want to make sure that you know which one of your targets is which, now I know that that's kick. Boom. I click on that, it'll start with a kick. You know what I mean? So once we have everything set up in there. But let me show you guys the option that I actually utilize every single time that I go live. All right. And also, the other thing I will show you guys in another separate video is going to be this. This is called Social Stream Ninja. Now, if you're multi-streaming, a lot of you, like myself, want to have our chats all in one location. This bad boy right here is the king of it all. Literally, this allows you to put all of your chats into one area, bring it up as a browser source, as a tab, click that link and put it over in here, and literally just drop it in to a browser source right there for yourself. This way, there's no hassle, no issues, no nothing. You just have all your chats in one area, and you can even have it set to give yourself a little notification sound, so that way you know when chat messages are coming in if it happens to be maybe a slow night and you're just not really paying attention to chat. But if you're like some of the bigger streamers and your chat is just flowing, well then yeah, no worries. Your chat is always moving, but this way you can actually look at it. And with the browser window, along with having it on the chat and stuff, you can then go to that browser window, scroll through your chat, and make sure that you see anything that might have been missed. But you can also have it set so that it fades the messages away after a certain amount of time as well too. These are all really handy features to have, so that way you can actually have all of this be a much cleaner setup on your stream, but still have the ability for so-and-so on Kick to talk to so-and-so on Twitch, and so-and-so on to Twitch and Kick to talk to so-and-so on X, so forth, so on. You see what I'm saying? Plus, they can all talk to you, and you don't have to sit there and try to scan your eyes across all these different chat windows. You just have one that you have to look at. Now, the only downside of this guy really is that you gotta have it pinned, and you gotta pop out every single chat. So like over here, you'd go over, pop out chat, and then literally that will now then pull into social stream so long as it's pinned on top all the time. But again, I'm going to make a separate video for that one here later on. Now let's go ahead and get into the next piece here. So let's go to Rumble. We're going to go to, see how now it says on Rumble Studio, Direct RTMP is available now, and then there's Go Live. Right? So Go Live is using the static or even just the newer stream key, a new stream key that you get for each video set that you have. Now, if you want to use Rumble Studio, which is effectively like kind of like using beforehand, it's like it would be like kind of using something without you having to need OBS, but in a lot of ways, you're still going to really want OBS, in my opinion. But what I do is I do like a direct RTMP. Now, it looks like because of the fact that I'm already recording right now, I may not be able to do so. Oh, wait, no. That's right. It's because it's right here. So here's the direct RTMP, right? So as long as I connect all this stuff, so I have my my URL and then the stream key, okay? So the URL will go into the setup over here and stuff like that, just like normal and stuff like that. But in this case, instead of it being like set up here in the multiple streams, what I would normally be doing in this case is actually setting it up to run through the actual settings. So this is where we're going to be doing it here. So that's why I have it set up through Rumble Studio right here, okay? So that is what I have located there. Then you take your stream key, you put it there as well, and now you hit live on here, and instead of it just automatically going live over to the site, it will be live. It's just that now it's sitting in a room, as they call it. And in that room doesn't go live until you go up here and you click start stream, and then it will actually start, send that signal to YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, wherever, right? So what I have it set up to, and you guys can see this right here, is I can have it set up to doing, like what's your primary source, all that type of stuff like that, and then your secondary source. And you can see I have it set for YouTube, Kick, DLive, and Beam. All right, so if I want to, all I have to do is click those little toggles, and legitimately, it will just send that signal, automatically go live to which of those sites. I don't have to do any extra work whatsoever. I don't have to go to YouTube and do the that stupid URL thing, any of that stuff. And I don't have to do that over on Kick really so much. Or no, let me rephrase that. Kick, you do still have to grab at least the stream key. It does get the URL automatically, but you do need your stream key for Kick. But still, whatever. That's not a big deal, right? But with YouTube, you always have to go and set up a brand new title, a brand new everything, every time you go live on YouTube. This way, fucking Rumble's already doing it because it's whatever you set for your Rumble thing. So whatever I have for my thumbnail, for my description, my stream name, all that stuff, that all gets translated and sent over to YouTube, and I don't have to do any extra work that way. So that really saves a lot of headache. And honestly, this is probably the best way I can honestly, in my opinion, recommend going to Rumble. Okay, Rumble allows for you to then go live to all these sites all at once. You don't have a Rumble logo. You don't have any of that type of stuff. Like, Restream will try to push on all that stuff. It'll claim that you'll get a Restream, little logo, like watermark, on all your videos. Now, I've actually never noticed it, but I have seen it on other people's videos, so I don't know exactly which feed that they're actually pushing out then. Because if you're just doing the basic one, it won't do that then. Editor note, real quick. As I was putting this together, I just realized I forgot about Beam. So when I was talking about Rumble Studio and how you can go live with everything like that as well, you can use Beam as well effectively for the same exact thing. So when I was going over that whole thing, I actually did forget to add in the whole Beam thing. So I did want to add this in as a just kind of like a real quick little bit. So like here in this next part, you're gonna hear me go over like not only just the whole aspect of like the Restream and like the whole plugin and everything like that. I am gonna start talking about the whole Rumble part of it, and I absolutely forgot that Beam has exactly the same thing along with a chat feature as well that allows you to bring all the chats over to one area, just like Rumble Studio. So if you're looking for the same exact thing like that, you can technically use Beam as well. So I just wanted to make sure I put that in there so that way you guys know like all of that before like I just post this video out there and then be like, oh shit, I need to put in a pinned comment that I forgot about Beam. So definitely use that. And it's Beam Streaming. Type that into Google because I do believe it's beamstreaming.gg. I forget the actual like URL or anything like that. So just Google it yourself though, and you will find Beam Streaming. I know it's named after the original name that Mixer once had. It is not the same thing though. So definitely go and Google that though. But again though, that's like with the whole basic one, I have noticed it, like I said, on certain ones, put it like a little Restream logo, like a little watermark down here in the side, stuff like that. But it's literally, I think if you're using their main browser link, I don't know, because I've usually just captured the link or not a capture link, but just gone live to those sites, using like Restream and stuff like that. But then when I go to look at those sites, I don't see the little logo. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I've done it. I don't know. But I have seen on a few other people's videos and stuff like that. But again, though, you're only limited to I think like two at best on Restream, unless you pay for it. Streamlabs, I think, has to pay for like a bigger like a premium edition of Streamlabs in order to get more than a few sites to do it. I think they do like a couple more, but not a ton. But literally with Rumble Studio, I don't need to pay for anything like that. I can literally just go live on Rumble Studio and legitimately have the ability to literally go go live to Kick, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Beam, fucking Party, whatever the case is. So long as I have the stream URL and the stream key, you're good to go, and you can go live to it. And you can also get all your chat. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not too, but all your chat windows are also all in this location. So legitimately, I can have it set up to bring me all of them in one. Now, sometimes it doesn't bring me Kicks over to here, which is fine, because again, that is where like they have the fallback of, like I said, when we go to the Social Stream Ninja one. That'll be, again, another topic for another video, but that is also another big benefit of having something like that, though, is that if something like, Rumble Chat's not working, where it's pulling all the channels into one, well, that's fine, because you can just use Social Stream Ninja and then have them all in that location. And then would actually work just as well. And on top of that, let's say it is bringing then like at least like YouTube and maybe a few other ones all over to Rumble's chat. Well, then you just need to open up Rumble's chat, and then whatever ones that aren't, have those popped out in the background, and then just open up that one from Social Stream Ninja to actually be watching, and then that way all of them would be going just to that. So, but this way, the reason why I bring it up like that though is that this way it's fewer windows. This way, like if YouTube's already bringing in chat all over to Rumble, you don't need them to have YouTube's pop-out chat. Because at that point, whatever that chat's going to be in the Rumble chat one, since it's pulling it in already, if you already have YouTube popped out on top of that, it's going to double that up and have another YouTube message in there, because it's showing that it's also been on YouTube as well. So again, another video for another time, because it's very complicated what I'm explaining, and I know I'm probably losing a lot of you right now, like, what the fuck is he babbling about? Trust me, when I show you guys the video, it will make sense what I'm babbling about, I promise you. But with having this be said though, you guys can go live though, like I said, all from everything you want over here. Literally, you can just keep adding destination, like all you gotta do is click add new, and look, you have Facebook, Twitch, Locals, X, and then you go custom RTMP. So long as you can grab the RTMP from that site and the stream key, you're good. You can then just put it there, and it'll automatically pull it over there. So that is why I love using Rumble Studio, and it's another reason why that I'm always live on Rumble and Kick, because literally it's just as simple as toggling it on, go live, and literally boom, we're done. Plus, on top of that, like I said, it creates a window. Now, here's the other thing though too, I will state, right? So if we're over here on the Rumble Studio, if you're using a Mac, you're gonna go to your top Mac bar up here, right? You're gonna click Window, mute this tab, because this will start doubling your audio as well. All the audio from this tab will be projected through the actual stream as well. So be sure to mute this tab. Okay, now if you're over on Windows, it's as simple as right click and then mute over here on this side. Obviously, as you can see, we don't have that ability on Macs, so it's all up here. So that is why I do recommend you do that. Now, any other tab or anything else that you don't want to have audios bleed through in any way into your stream, just go over to them. Let's say you want this one, click mute this tab, boom, now you're done, right? So simple as that. It's very, very simple, very easy. It makes going live, in my opinion, way more, way more feasible to like multiple streams without having to worry about cloning all of them and doing all that stuff over here. Rumble is taking that hit for me, and they're using their servers to do all that. I don't have to worry about that. I just have to make sure that I can go live to Rumble Studio. Studio handles the rest, and I'm all good. It's pretty much allocated then on Studio's side to pretty much hold off all that bandwidth to the other ones and clone my bandwidth that I'm doing to them to each one of those other ones. So that way it brings that to each one of those sites at the same exact quality that I have here. So again, I honestly recommend it if you're afraid that your PC cannot handle this plugin up here. Now, again, this plugin was made by Sorayuki. So again, if you want to be able to go and donate, help out, and give them some support, because this is an absolutely free plugin, right? You can do so. But again, if you don't feel like your PC can handle that with OBS, I recommend just do it this way, right? And you can do this in classic Rumble Studio mode too. So if we were to go back and we were to click on like regular studio stream and stuff, then I would be able to actually go in there and set up either do I want a WIP connection or do I want an RTMP connection, and then I can take that URL and stream key, put it in here, and have that go live like that. So there are multiple ways that you can do all this. Again, if you're going to be going live, especially I recommend now with Rumble Studio, do direct RTMP. You click this once, go in there, you set up the room, it'll keep the room forever like this. But this way, anytime you go live, all you got to do is then replace the thumbnail, change up all this stuff, all that other jazz, and then you're good to go. But then you can literally just be live on YouTube, Kick, DLive, Beam, Party, Twitch, whatever, right? And especially if you are moving your community over, I highly, highly recommend this. When you are going to start off that first stream, your first day over on Kick, X, all that stuff, you need the day before, hype the shit out of it. Actually, I would recommend 2 to 3 days ahead of time. You want to build that hype. You want it to feel like a bottle about to explode. As soon as you go live, everybody floods over there, and it's just follow. You just see that shit spamming, and next thing you know, subs come through, and next thing you know, raids come through, and that is literally how you end up having a really amazing time. Plus, if you can then coordinate with other people, maybe within your community, maybe that are also that you know are going to be making that switch as well, and be like, hey, what day are you going to go live on? Cool. Hey, if I go live before you, and I, and I get done before you, would you let me raid out to you? So this way we can kind of help build up everybody around. This is a great way to build with other communities and to show that you want to help support each other. This isn't just about helping each other get maybe like the sub button or whatever the case is. This is purely about showcasing that support that we all talk about amongst us streamers is truly there and still alive in 2025. That legitimately, how Twitch has tried to toxify everybody's mentality has legitimately not been, fucking actually to fruition. That legitimately a lot of us have been able to stave off that horrendous mindset that this all has to be purely transactional and that we can't really make friends and that communities can't really collab with each other and stuff like that. That's horseshit. There are so many amazing content creators out there, and so many of them want to collab with you. You just got to go in and put forth that effort. You just got to make sure that you show them that you really want to just be, though, a member of a community and not just another number. That is the biggest and most important thing. Look, at the end of the day, yes, you can care about the money all you want, but if you're sitting there on Twitch thinking that somehow you're on some moral high ground, look, man, you're on the platform that is backing terrorist sympathizers and literally gives you dick all for money. They are literally just taking money from you, and you're okay with it. Whereas Kick won't allow that, and Kick is giving you 95 split. So again, I highly urge you, make that transition. It will be the best transition you can make right now, all right? Yes, I know that a lot of people are probably looking at this video right now and be like, Devi, weren't you the guy back on Live Space shitting on all this stuff? Yes, you're right, I was. And as I've actually made a very point to make, a very pungent point to make on the fucking stream the other night, was that this speaks volumes also about Kick. Okay, when I was at my biggest and most hated or hateful moment with Kick and how things were going down, how I felt like certain contracts were going out. Funny enough, this is why though I feel like ultimately, because I wasn't the only person to be upset about this, others were definitely upset, but that enough of that voice collectively kind of got heard, and it took just one fuck up of a contract for them to be like, you know what? I think the community is right. We shouldn't do this anymore. People should want to come over to Kick basically organically. Okay? Because they want to. Because they know that they're going to get a better split, better community outreach, better fucking community tools. Their community actually can just watch the content without being berated by a million fucking ads and more for everything under the sun and shit that doesn't even have to pertain to fucking streaming or that most streamers even give a shit about. Okay? Just saying. All right? There's a lot of fucking advertisements out there that literally are just like, why the fuck is that even on Twitch? What the fuck is wrong with these people? Right? They want just to take that money from everywhere and anything that they can. So I highly urge you to think about the simple fact is that, yes, I was allowed to be disgruntled. I was allowed to have my personal opinions, my personal grievances with Kick, and Kick not be childish and go take his verification badge. Go ahead and ban him, block him, do whatever, right? Literally, Kick had the balls to be an adult and be like, nah, let him have his grievances, because eventually he might come around and maybe he sees things differently. And you're right. As soon as the fact that they said, you know what, we're not doing no more contracts, guys. Like, the whole thing that Soul Illuminati is so upset about is actually, like, there's a reason for that, right? Ada Ross even talked about it, like with Sapnap, right? The contract he gets and less than 500 viewers, you want to understand why? They're like, nah, dude, we're not taking that chance. I don't care if others say, no, dude, but that's okay. That was that guy. That's not me, dog. Doesn't matter. You getting the contract doesn't incentivize you to make fucking content. And if you claim it does, you're in it for the wrong reasons. You should be making the content because you fucking want to make the content. That's a simple fucking fact. These people out here that are busting their ass, making the content, especially all those that are on Kick, that are literally trying to shoot for those partner programs, that are putting over 100 hours of streaming a fucking month. The reason why they're doing this is because they actually want that shit. They actually are drive to do that shit. So if you're going to try to say, well, I can't do all that plus YouTube, most of those motherfuckers do. Look at Kino Casino. Thank you very little. Those motherfuckers do a shit ton of streaming, but they also do a shit ton of YouTube. There is other content creators on Kick right now who are pushing mad amount of content on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and other places, but they're also still hitting that 100-hour streams a month. So you're going to tell me that that requires a certain mindset there, Illuminati? No, I think that you just want a bag so that you can retire, just like everybody else pretty much did when they got that bag. And look, even Tectones was legit. Even he said if had he got that bag, motherfucker would have retired just like everybody else did. He wouldn't have put the effort into streaming. But instead, he was like, nah, I'm going to go over there just like Asmongold's doing, and I'm going to put in this effort, I'm going to put in this time, and within literally just a few days, bro has made, what was like a 30 fucking K just in a few fucking days. Literally more than what he makes usually, in that short time on fucking Twitch. And literally, what was it, like, double what he makes monthly over on Twitch? So yeah, dude is literally doing it massively well. Now again though, don't let that be this mindset though, that everybody that goes over to Kick, you're just instantly gonna be making them $1 bill, y'all. It's not gonna happen. It just doesn't. Okay, some people will blow up, some of you will not, okay? But just remember though too, Rome wasn't fucking built in a day. So if you really want to build a fucking, civilization, you want to build something, it's going to take some hard work, communicating, definitely a lot of networking, and above all else, it is going to take you actually dedicated to the craft. Okay, if you're just going to sit there, go live and hope that the people come to you, but you never posted on X, you didn't build a Discord community, you didn't try to fucking multi-stream and bring other people that you maybe already built from another platform to this platform, then that is on you. At the end of the day, nobody else is to blame but yourself. You chose to do that and do that yourself. Okay, so at the end of the day, if you want to take that dive and you want to really try to make this into something, then I urge you, please make sure that you do this in the most proper way. The best way to hype each other up. Get into it now while the getting's good. But go on Discord or go on Twitter. Make sure you put it out there. Hey guys, who's all heading over to Kick? Who's heading to YouTube? Hey guys, I want to also head to do this day, but I want to make sure that I can raid out to other channels. But I also was going to see if I could try to get somebody else that maybe might help me out with a raid or two that would also benefit me to just kind of give that nice welcoming experience on the platform. So this way we can all build up these, our channels and these platforms and show people that, hey, Twitch, guess what? You're not the only fucking platform around anymore. And on top of that, a lot of people are moving to Kick because they much rather have a better experience for their viewers. The fact that your viewer can go click, wow, content, instead of being like, click 7 minutes of fucking ads. What? Nobody wants to do that shit. Nobody, dude. It's fucking ridiculous. And if I want to subscribe to somebody, I don't want most of my money being taken by the platform who I'm not too happy at with right now or fond of. I would much rather be like, hey, you got a PayPal link? Let me donate that to you instead. Okay, cool. But what if I want to still somewhat support, especially because not always the donations show up or have cool little alerts or whatever the case is, right? So sometimes you do a donation, it just isn't noticeable, and it's just like, oh man, I wanted that person to feel like that hype from that. You get a sub, right? And I'm being honest, right? You get a sub. You see that alert pop off. You're like, oh, fuck yeah, man. Dude, thank you so much for that sub. You know, that it does something for you, but it also does something for the chat at the same time, right? They'll just maybe see a little thing off in the corner and it says, oh, so-and-so just donated. Oh, that's cool. Hey, man, thank you so much for that donation. There's not the same fucking level of energy, which honestly there should be. Somebody just directly gave you money. You should be very stoked about that. But I've seen literally the opposite. I've seen people be like, oh, man, cool. You give me a donation? Like, why don't you just give me a sub instead? Well, why are you complaining? The money went directly to you. But it's because of the same thing. They want that flair. They want the fucking alert to pop off. They want the noise. They want all that stuff because it's like a fucking, like, you know, it's an actual, like, an event that happens. So you want to celebrate those things, right? And yeah, sure, you can try to do this with donations, but they just a lot of times don't work a lot of time. You know, either the fucking links break or fucking they just don't translate very well or whatever the case is, right? YouTube does it the best, let's be honest, especially with super chats and stuff like that. But quite honestly, the best thing in the world is literally seeing a big ass fucking alert pop up because somebody just dropped you a 5-bomb and you're like, holy shit! Yo, dude, thank you so fucking much for all that shit. That's what people want to see. That's the energy. That's the vibe they want, man. And honestly, let's be real. Over on Twitch lately, like, nobody's got that vibe. Dude, nobody's got any aura at all anymore. They're all like, hey guys, so today we're going to be going live. And it's like, oh, so we're all going to try to copy Hassan Piker because he used to sound like me. He used to have a little squeaky girly voice like my ass. And then all of a sudden, no, he wants to sound like he's very masculine and his balls have dropped right down to his knees. You're like, dude, look, man, if you didn't take voice acting lessons, you'd still sound like my dumb ass. Fuck off, brah. And he's trying to make fun of Nux like, oh, I thought the point of a VTuber is to have a cool voice. Bitch, your voice ain't cool. You sound like literally somebody who's trying to constantly read you sultry porn all the fucking time. It's really not that attractive, and it's actually quite cringe. Just saying, dog. Thought you were supposed to have a cool voice. But again, I digress. If you're trying to move from Twitch over to Kick, from Twitch over to YouTube, whatever the case is, multi-streaming is going to help you. But even past that, even beyond that, you should be multi-streaming anyway, because this way you are going to build your brand across multiple platforms, get more eyes on it. And guess what? Just like a lot of viewers have platform fatigue, just like a lot of streamers have platform fatigue, the viewers that have platform fatigue are left. They are on those platforms. They're never leaving another platform. They're not going to go to party. They're not going to noise. They're not, again, a lot of these platforms aren't going to blow up right now until probably like the end of the year or something like that. Then they might start getting people that are finally going to start moving again. But too many sites pop up all at once. People get tired of making accounts and constantly being like, oh shit, I got to go support this person over there. I got to go support that person over there. But then how much are you on those platforms? Are you on those platforms enough to be on that long enough to go and follow other content creators? Hell no. Kick? Yes. YouTube? Yes. Twitch? Obviously, that's why Twitch got to be where it's at. So, if you're going to do it, I mean, again, this is why I think Rumble hasn't got it. You know, Rumble has a lot of politics, stuff like that. And we were actually talking about this the other day, is that, you know, is that the problem kind of is that Rumble doesn't promote enough of the regular video content. They promote more of the live content, which, in a regard, I'm actually cool with that because I go live a lot more than I make actual regular content. However, though, there's a flip-flop. A lot of people that do regular content, they want to be able to have that stuff go just as equally as well as their live content. But if you literally just go look at my videos and go look at the actual viewer counts on them, my Rumble channel has always got way more video or views on its live streams than Kick will ever have. Because why? Rumble's promoting my live stream way more than Kick is, because legitimately at the end of the day, Rumble's just built to promote all those live streams more. So, and it works in a little bit different way too. I just like how Rumble actually does promote, even like the smaller guys, way more than you're seeing on a lot of other platforms. But I do like, though, with Kick, though, I have noticed that a lot of it's being intermittent now too. It's like when you go look into a category, you might see a couple like 5, 7, 8 viewer people all being up at the top, and then you also see like a couple thousand viewers or whatever the case is intermixed with them as well, right? So at least you see some of the small guys up at the top, not just all at the bottom all the time. And I like seeing that because it gives them hope that maybe as soon as that that big stream is done, maybe they go right out to one of those little guys and make their night. You know what I mean? That shit can happen, dog. That can happen. So just bear that in mind. But I want to know what you guys think. What is your opinion on multi-streaming? What's your opinion on the whole Twitch fiasco? And I gotta also ask, where is going to be the platform where you guys going to go to? Especially if you want any support and stuff like that, please let us know. So drop those links in the bottom in the comments below, so that way we can try to give you guys some support. You know, drop you guys some follows, subscribes. You know, if you're over on YouTube, whatever the case is, we definitely want to be able to go and subscribe to you over there, or follow you over on, you know, Kick and stuff like that, or even over on Rumble. Wherever it is going to be, where you're going to be at, let us know. And I would also recommend, hey, go live on all of them. Literally, go live from Rumble to fucking Twitch to Kick to YouTube, all of that stuff. And legitimately build your community up like that and show everybody how great it would be if they just went on over to Kick and Rumble. Just saying. This has been your boy Debbie signing off. And this is your second reminder to drop a like and drop a subscribe on this beautiful video if you enjoyed it, because I would gladly appreciate it, and it helps out the algorithm, show that you guys love these videos and appreciate the content that I'm making out here, and the improvement of actually busting my ass to edit this content and not just give you schlocky, shitty, you know, content. Just like, and I went live and I'm done, and I went live and I'm done, and I went live and I'm done. So, you know, this is what we're doing now. So, this has been your boy Debbie signing off. You have a wonderful day, everybody. Deuces.